before they cut it off. Said, you got me in the scope, but you grazed me. I said, one called it in the scope, and you Swayze. This shit's fire. I just want y'all to listen to it so you can hear what a goat sounds like. You can feel free to get disrespectful in the chat all you want. I really don't care because it's absolute facts. I realized today, like sometimes when I'm in like a frustrated state, I try to tell myself, don't listen to so much M because this nigga's crazy. And M, like when I was in high school and in middle school and I grew up on Eminem, Eminem felt like my older brother who experienced the same type of BS that I did. Pissed off at his parents, wanting a new life, all of that type of stuff. So, you know, I loved M. I'm like, yeah, shit's lit. I didn't really understand his art, like as far as appreciating it for what it should be appreciated for, which is that he's able to string these bars together. The content, like now when I listen to it, I'll be like, y'all really was in my room, like, yeah. Like my favorite Eminem verse is the one on Fight Music. Basically, M could get me to run through a wall. You know how they be saying that about like coaches and shit? Oh yeah, he can get his players to run through a wall. M could literally get me to do that with the lyrics. Fight Music. If you've never heard that record, D12, M's the last verse on the record. Crazy. I just had Kill Shot playing. Crazy. I listened to the old Marshall Mathers LP today. I was listening to cuts off that. And I think about how, if you've ever heard the song Criminal, if M were to drop that today, I don't think M would last 5 minutes on any streaming platform. Because within the first couple minutes of the song, he drops the F-bomb like 6 times. And I don't mean fuck. And that's just some stuff that can't fly these days. But either way, I realized today that I can be in these weird states and listen to this because now I'm looking at it from a different lens. I still listen to it and I take the time to learn the words because I can just appreciate how he can string them all together. I noticed on one of his most recent records, he said that he was at age 48. So M's 48, 49 years old. I don't feel like that. Like when I heard that and I realized it, I was like, wait, this nigga's 48? Ain't great at math, but damn, getting old. But he can still go. We got Tom Brady in the Super Bowl this weekend, old as hell, still can go. So anybody that's out here, if you're working within your craft or within your passion, there is no clock. You do this as long as you care about it. But anyway, listen to that Kill Shot record too. I mean, M just has so many records. And I really do get confused. Like some of these people would be like, oh, you like M? Ugh. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You want to know? Listen, I'm going to tell you how good Eminem is. I remember growing up, and my sister's in the chat. Gabby, what's up? She can vouch for this. My mom did not like me listening to rap music in the house. When I was in middle school, this is when I first became a rapper. I, on record, was suspended from school because I got caught with a notebook where I had written rhymes. And Mark is in the room, so if I'm looking over, I'm looking at Mark. I got suspended because all the lyrical content was crazy. And so my mom was not a fan of the rap music. My mom is also a gay woman. When I turned 16, I remember my mother and I were having a phone conversation and we were talking about music. And she goes, you know who I really like? I'm like, the Eminem boy. I really like him. And I was like, who the fuck is this on the phone? Gabby, this you, stop playing. It wasn't her. It was my mother. Actually saying she liked Eminem. And one of the songs she told me she liked was Criminal. I couldn't believe it. Like I said, within the first like handful of bars, the F bomb, excuse me. It should be called an F bird. I like that. Always coming up with new lingo on the show. Thank you for tuning into the Mimical Jackson Show. It's Lunchtime TV. But he drops the F bomb several times. So offensive. M would not last. He was to drop today, and if Criminal was his very first record, and this came out literally today, he'll be kicked out of Earth for how offensive he is. And I love it that he's made it almost all the way to 50. He's the greatest of all time when it comes to this rap stuff. And I know people are going to be like, nah, it's this person, that person. And that's fine. Y'all, listen, I'm at a point in life where if somebody's to be like, nah, it's Hove, it's definitely Jay-Z, I'd be like, I can see that, because I can see that for you. I can see why he gives you that feeling. A lot of people will be like, nah, it's Drake. It's Drake. And I'll be like, I can see that for you. That's not for me. Oh, yeah, she loves the Superman record too. My mother loves the Eminem Superman record. Have you heard the lyrics to that? I remember one time when I was in middle school, I was listening to Kim. If you've ever heard that Kim record, you know what type of shit Eminem was on. I've listened to that. My friends listen to that. One time, when I go back to Texas to visit my mother, I get in the car. We listen to the whole record. She knew almost all of the words. For those of you who've never heard the song, that's the song where he talks about killing the mother of his child. The real one, not a fake one, the real one. My mom loves it. I couldn't believe it. Grew up in a household, you can't listen to rap. We was on that Garth Brooks and shit, and Journey is lit. That Don't Stop Believing record, boy, you can't tell me nothing. If that come on, don't let me get in my bag. It'll be over. I'll be singing that all the way through the damn sunroof, boy. Don't play with me. But even still, Eminem was going crazy in the household. But I can see how some of these other people for y'all would just be the great. Like, who's somebody else that everybody thinks is so great? Like, people say Lil Wayne is the greatest of all time. I can see that. I can see that for y'all. Not for me, but for y'all. Just ain't it for me. I'm holding this today because I don't want to lean over the desk like I'm some weirdo eating food over the sink like a rat. Let me get comfortable. But anyway, so I didn't really have a whole lot planned. I just wanted to come hang out with y'all. Well, and Mark's here. What's cracking, Mark? I was telling Mark earlier that ESPN, I really feel like whoever's queuing up the music for the commercials, well, they're definitely not white. And you're probably like, how do you even come to that conclusion? Because they're playing DaBaby Practice for one of their commercials, and they definitely have the part where he talks about going to get some head from a ghetto hoe. So whoever over there at ESPN is pulling the wool over the white folks' eyes, because they must be mad old, because they probably just heard the record and like, oh my God, I love this beat. This is so good. And they didn't realize that when he's talking about going to get head from a ghetto hoe, that they had that running on their commercials for the last 3 weeks. But it's lit though. That beat is just so fire. Is this a music episode? Maybe it is. So I had that playing earlier. You know, we was in here getting hyped to that, laughing at the fact that ESPN has no cares in the world now. They figured 2021, it's whatever we want to do, basically. Because at this point, what are you going to say to anybody? And I also like that on a basketball broadcast yesterday. So one of ESPN's like a little affiliates they have is the Undefeated. And Ariel Helwani, who's one of their sideline reporter commentators, he had to read like one of their little commercial statement types of things. And the way he started off, it was something to the effect of, like, ESPN or here at the Undefeated, we've always believed that Black lives mattered. And I was like, oh, this is lit. And I'm like, well, it makes sense because they're over here about to go get some head from a ghetto hoe. So like they do it nasty, pull up new whip in this class, all that type of stuff. And so I'm like, it's lit over at ESPN. They're really making it like a strong statement that they're not going to be playing with that, which is crazy because you know who runs their company? Disney. And I know the people now are not the people of old, but let's stop trying to pretend like Walt Disney was a perfect man. Racist ass. RIP though, you created something great for people to look forward to, even though tickets for the park are mad expensive. Listen, fam, I don't understand why y'all feel the need to just terrorize people's pockets for amusement park prices. Why? There's no way that shit is that cool. No, don't shake your head at me. What's it cost to go there for 3 days? Just tell me 3 days. Because based on the commercial, if you read the fine print, looks like you finna spend 10 racks to go there for 3 days. You mean to tell me that's 10 racks worth? What'd you tell me you paid? Was it like your family paid like $3,000-$4,000 to go?
I think it was for like all of our tickets.
All of the tickets, y'all.
So 4 adults.
4 adult tickets.
Document of it. It was like $1,400 for 3 days. $1,200
for an amusement park.
Maybe not. Maybe it was $1,200. But that we couldn't. Now I can't remember. But it was, and that was the like cheaper price for not having the luxury of hopping from California Adventure to Disneyland. We had to stick to one a day.
So you basically took somebody's rent and y'all used that for 3 days to have limited access to something. I'm sure it was lit. And I'm not trying to dismiss how crazy and fun I bet Disney World is, but I just want y'all to understand you were being taken advantage of, because although all that shit is probably mad cool, they don't need to force you to pay that money to go see those sites and enjoy that shit. There's got to be a way they can make that cheaper and more affordable for families. Come on, man. $1,400 for 3. That's the rent at a lot of places.
It might have been more. Now that I'm thinking about it,
they do it nasty.
I will say though, the whole experience.
Micah said he spent $1,000 for 1 day. Jesus Christ. Cheese and rice. A rat. Oh my gosh. Listen, you guys have heard my stories. I'm broke and cheap. Remember how I told y'all on the show many a time. It took me 3 weeks just to pay the money to get the upgrade for the Arkham Knight Batman game. It was like $17. I didn't want to come off of that. Because was it worth it? I don't know. And I played the shit. And I beat it. And the game was fun. But now I low-key want my $17 back because they ain't brought me a new game yet. And I saw the preview for the one that's upcoming, and it looks like trash because at the end of that game, Batman died. So did I get my money's worth? No. So do you think I'm going to Disney World? No. Boy, y'all sick. $1,000? Sick. It doesn't matter how many people it is, Gabby. For 3 people, that based on Mark's assessment and yours, you're basically paying close to $400, $500 a person to come enjoy rides. What is there free food? Do you pay for the food? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
So you pay for the food. Okay. So you're not getting free food. Are the like shows at night, entertainment, is all that free?
Yes. Anything that happens.
Who's performing? Anybody good? And don't say one of these characters. I'm talking about like Shania Twain or Brian McKnight, because it's not Vegas, right? Exactly. Not worth it. If Brian McKnight ain't there, I ain't coming. Matter of fact, I don't even want to see him neither. Because it wouldn't be worth it. You're not making me pay $1,400 for Brian McKnight. Boy, y'all sick. You ever seen Brian McKnight perform? It ain't bad, but he got one song. How he in Vegas every night getting paid one like a drink. I don't remember the words. Micah got food and skipped the lines. Worth it? No. How much is the food though? What's the prices for the food? Are we talking this like fair food, like corn dogs and shit?
Kind of. It depends. There's like sit down. We didn't do any of like the dining.
Gotcha.
But like I think one night we each went to a place and we got like chicken strips and fries.
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
And they were like $9 a thing, which is
that's like standard. Yeah.
So like some of the stuff is like
so it's like eating that.
Souvenirs are stupid.
Oh, souvenirs? I don't want those.
The food we didn't do. We did the the cheese, like pretzel and cheese for $4.
Done.
And you can bring your own food in. So
say less.
So that's why I had all those granola bars in the back.
So who on your crew, and Gabby, Micah, you can answer this, who on your crew is bringing the cooler when I come on the trip? Because I'm not paying for the food, so somebody has to roll the cooler around. Who's doing that? No, I said a cooler. You know, I don't need the cooler's not for the drinks, it's for the food.
You just put you make it work.
Y'all don't get it. I need a lot of damn food. The Maddox can't bring the cooler. The food won't make it to the park. Buddy will be in the back of the car while we all asleep or something. I'll tore the whole thing up. Then I'll be mad because I probably won't be on the rides like that. Then I'm going to have to stand down there with him because he got a stomach ache now. See? Now I'm not gone. But shout out to Maddox, though. Carb Kid. What's his other nickname? What was the other name I gave him? It was something good. Or maybe it was the one Gabby gave him. I don't know. Somebody asked me what my favorite Ray J cut was the other day. And I've always said that it was the record called Wait a Minute with Lil' Kim. And there was only for one reason why. In Lil' Kim's verse, she has a part where she goes, "Hey, wait a minute, ain't that Brandy's brother?" And from the moment I heard that, and Gabby probably never knew this, I always insert her name in that part. So the only reason I really like this song is so I had the opportunity to go, "Yo, wait a minute, ain't that Gabby's brother?" You know, just to hype myself up because I'm lit. And it's kind of a good song. And then he had the one where he was, what's that record where he's out in the rain like a damn fool getting pneumonia out there singing to some girl that don't want him.
One Wish?
Yeah. If I had one wish, we would be. But nothing's funnier than that video where he's doing that interview with Speedy and he's unbreakable. And he says those glasses were unbreakable. And he told Speedy to break them. And he thought they were unbreakable. And then when Speedy broke them, Ray J he didn't know what to say. And all he said was, "I don't care." Funniest shit of all time. Gabby said he would have ate the whole damn cooler. Damn, don't disrespect your son like that. Leave that to me. I mean, I'm just playing. You know what's crazy, though, about Maddox? This is my nephew, y'all. Shout out to him. I love him. Big-headed ass boy. It just runs in the family. But the crazy thing about it, and it's low-key, I'm jealous. How can you consume so much and not turn into my fat ass? Excuse my language. But still, as a kid, you know, I was plump. I low-key looked like the girl on Willy Wonka, the blueberry one. Except the brown version. So I look like a big ass raisin. No, let me stop, man. I was a great looking kid, just had a big old head. Again, runs in the family. But Maddox, how do you consume so much and not put on weight? You lucky. Anyway. But speaking of that, shout out to anybody who's propped me up over the last few weeks, coming up to me being like, "Damn, how'd you lose all this weight?" And honestly, I really don't know because I still eat like crap, but I just been working out, man. You just do 100 of everything that you can possibly do, and then you just start to look like a chewed up Tootsie Roll. But I'm actually shredded under here. My abs are coming in. Love handles on the side started to shrink down. I don't know if you can see through. Oh my God, are those tries back there? Oh my God. But yeah. Appreciate y'all, man. I'm glad that somebody actually noticed, you know, because I honestly couldn't tell because I don't got dough, but you can call me Dough Boy. And I reversed the Ice Cube lyrics because when he said it, he said something the complete opposite. And I had to make it work because I don't got no dough. Yeah, appreciate it, man. I have two wonderful friends who are barbers, so I always have fresh cuts because James used to cut my hair. Shout out to James. I love James, but unfortunately, I only have morning appointments available. So I've had to, or early afternoon on Wednesdays. So I've been going to Jameer, which is another one of my brothers. So James and Jameer, two great African American brothers. And they're not just great because they're barbers, but they're great because they're black men who take care of their families. They work hard. Shout out to James, man. James is, transitioning in life somewhat, and he's been leveling up and doing his thing, really doing his thing, man, especially during COVID time. A lot of people out here really didn't turn over a new leaf and didn't do shit. Me. But but shout out to my guys, man. So they're keeping me fresh, and I appreciate it because, man, these last couple of weeks life's been hard, and a haircut can make a Negro feel like $1 million, looking like you about to touch 1 million butts, but not really, because that's how you catch something. Anyway, what was the message that was retracted? I missed that. Don't shy away now, fam. Now we got to keep an eye on the chat because people in here talking crazy. It's just Gabby, though. I don't know what she said. But anyway, Mark, do you have any projects you want to plug while you're in the room?
I'm wrapping up.
That's what he said.
Wrapping up my I Am Right Now project. It's still open for anybody. I kind of want to have it last for a year. I'm getting ready to put some new stuff up. From Mitch.
Shout out to Mitch. Money Mitch.
Yeah. So
does Mitch even watch this show anymore?
I think so.
We got to get Mitch to call in. Yeah. Or just get him to fly back. Mitch got money like that. Mitch, go ahead, fly back, buddy. Get in the chair. We're going to have a talk.
You there for a vacation.
Where does he live? In Myrtle Beach?
You moved to like North Carolina? Does that sound right?
Oh, yeah. North Carolina, come on and raise up. Take your shirt off. What's he say? I don't know the lyrics. P.D. Pablo, he had 2 cuts. Was this like the one in the hotel she did? Oh, yeah. No, the I Am Right Now that's the project that Mark was working on last year where she was highlighting amazing black people. That's all I'm going to say, because that's what it was. Highlighting the amazing black people that we have walking this earth, and mainly in the Tacoma area, in Seattle, and just this area, and some other areas, but mainly just this area, but amazing nonetheless. And then the one she was doing at the hotel, I don't know what that was, but
that was a boudoir session.
Oh yeah, boudoir session. So look, any ladies that's in the chat, y'all trying to book a boudoir session, come get it. Not for me though. I'm not trying to make advancements. Oh, because I do want to talk about that. I know this is about to get really uncomfortable, so let me lean in, because I was not trying to advance, but I'm operating on limited information. But at first glance and first hear with my ears, I hear about this guy who was the pitching coach for the Mets. He's on leave right now for sending lewd pictures to girls in his phone. Their GM also just got fired for that from like a past situation. I think the guy now, he was working for the Angels maybe at the time, or maybe he works for them now and was working at the Mets. I'm not here to dismiss the claims of these women. That's not what I am doing. But when I thought about the story, I started to wonder this. If somebody sends you something to your social media and or to your phone, you have the option to hit the block button and or ignore. Now, I know it does not mean that it makes it less inappropriate. It's inappropriate if somebody sends you a photo that you do not want, but you also do not actually have to receive it. Now, with that being said, do we think that this is going to be the start of something where now people come back from 4 or 5 years ago and be like, I want something to happen to this person because they sent me naked pictures of themselves and I didn't want them? I'm wondering if that's going to be a thing. That's it. I don't want to really go into any more next. I don't want people to think that I'm trying to like victim shame or nothing like that. But I'm just confused because you could just hit the block button or delete that person's number. Like, and I know you might be like, well, why should I have to do that? I'm like, but why is that not just your solution rather than try to like go in on the back end and try to like finesse people out of their job? Now, and I know you're probably thinking, oh, how dare you say that? There isn't anything wrong with you feeling like you were violated and then taking whatever steps are necessary to make sure that the person understands their wrongdoing. I do get that. But I've just always thought it was a little bit weird that like you could come back years later on a person and then basically now like you're having to watch like their life crumble. And this just seems like something where if it's just strictly just someone sending nudies to you and you don't want them, why not just block them? Because this also kind of creates problems for you too now, because now you have to be willing to stand on the claims that you've made, because now people are going to like argue over it. You have something to say? I mean, feel free to speak. You just like you were about to raise your hand. I don't want you to feel like you got to raise your hand.
No, I just don't agree, because a lot of times people don't come forward with something, even if it seems that simple, right? Like for me, because people have done stuff like that to me, I move on from it. I address whatever the case may be. If they're in a position where I feel like it's not appropriate, I've talked to bosses. I've done those things. But people don't come forward because we live in a culture where they don't believe victims, especially women.
I get that.
So sometimes it just takes some sort of motivation.
That's understandable, and I get that. But my thing, and that's why I didn't want to really dive into, because my thing is specifically about somebody just sending you photos. Because based on all the reports that have come out about this specific incident, is all about the guy sending photos. He came out and he said, yes, I did this. I sent them photos, but now he's saying that it's consensual. So my point is this. If he's admitting what he did, but he's saying that it's consensual, if you had a problem with it, why didn't you just block him? Because he's married now. He's saying it's 5 years ago. And now he's married, has a wife, and they're going through the whole thing. So now we're in a space where not only, and it doesn't matter about him, because if he's in the wrong, then he's in the wrong. But like now you open yourself up to scrutiny, because now people are going to say, well, you're wrecking his home. And now because of the attention that he's going to garner based on his position within a high paying job, that like that's going to shine light on your family and your history. And I get it. Like we make it to where people don't want to come forward, and that's completely wrong. But I'm just saying, for this specific situation, if it's just buddy sent photos to my phone that I did not want, why not just block it? Because you can just go in and be like, nigga, you're blocked, right? Maybe I'm oversimplifying it.
I don't think I know enough about the story.
And that's why I said I'm operating on limited information. I've only seen what has been produced by ESPN. And obviously we know it's not like we can pretend that people don't protect people. Not that I'm saying ESPN would protect him, but I mean, he's a sports guy and maybe there's some connections, and the person who wrote the story may not put in all of the details. And that's when you see it on other news networks, and then you're seeing another side of the story. And also, we don't know, I haven't heard of who the females are. They haven't talked about what like the photos specifically entail. They said lewd, and then another person who was kind of keeping a close eye on the story just said that it was like nude pictures. And so we're under the assumption that this is strictly just like this person sent these pictures. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I said if it's only that, if it is only that. And then, like I said, it's also kind of because he came out and was like, yeah, I did this. But it was consensual. And obviously niggas be lying. Right. So maybe he's lying, but maybe he isn't. Not to say that she's lying, because he probably sent them. We all send them. But that's my thing, is like you talk about how we live in a culture where we've made it impossible for people to come forward, which is BS. But now, are we creating a culture where people feel like if you have some clout or notoriety, we'll just go, because it's cancel culture, right? To some degree, you have to think about it as such. Like, what, and I obviously, if the person who is feeling like they are a victim of some sort, you come forward, you speak your truth, and that's all that matters. Fuck what I gotta say, fuck what anybody else gotta say, it does not matter because it's your truth. I'm just speaking from a place of, I wasn't there, so I don't know. We're all speculating, operating on limited information. So I'm just basing it off of what I know up to this point. It sounds like it was just this. And that's why I'm like, why would you want to open this up? Because also think about this. He has one of these really, really high paying jobs. And if you don't have that, or as much firepower as he does, he will have the opportunity to make your life a living hell. Why put yourself through that mentally? You know? Because you see what they did. All they did was put him on leave.
I have to believe that if someone comes forward, even if it's later, it's because they feel so strongly about a situation that now that I see a person who like is like this recognizable force, right? Who has a lot of money, a lot of pull, a lot of access.
Yeah.
That it's important, maybe you didn't think he was going to make it there and you're like, I can just let this go. And it's kind of like the same thing that happened with the Me Too movement of people coming forward years later because people, in their young life do these awful things. You're like, oh, I can let it go.
Yeah, for sure.
Awful people. And then they're in positions of power. You're like, oh, this isn't okay.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Like I said, I'm one that I want people to be empowered to speak their truths and come forward. And like, I totally understand if you feel like it's not the appropriate time, I totally get that. But there's also the added element of the fact that 2 weeks ago, the general manager of the same team where this guy worked, he got fired for basically doing the same thing. So you have these two guys who years ago were in a phase of life where they were just pursuing women. And then as they upgraded, these things just were like, no big deal. We don't care, da, 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 da. And then all of a sudden they start popping up. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But like we said, if we have now created a space where people can't come forward, are we also creating a space where people are going to just be like, well, I want to just decide that I'm going to burn this person just because. And now we're like low key kind of in a space, and I'll do it too, because I'm the first to be like, oh, he did it. Oh yeah. Cause you said it, right? He definitely did. And I want to wait until you can prove that you didn't, because we got tired of every time they would come forward, y'all would be like, no, we didn't do it. And we're just going to crush them inside. So now we're just going to off top, just believe that you're skeevy. Plus it's men. We're all fucking garbage. Excuse my language. I will talk bad about myself in that regard, because as a man, we all know what we do in regards to how we how we try to get girls, and like the measures that we go to try to get girls to think that we're cool. We're all fucking scumbags. It's facts. But are we creating that space where people can just decide that years later, just because I'm just on some funny shit, I can just burn you? And then we're going to be like, yeah, that's fine, because we're no longer dismissing complaints. We're accepting them all, not complaints. And I didn't demean it in any type of way. I just serious allegations. We're taking them all now. Do we actually have the capacity to do that? Because think about when you're in a phase of dating, even if you're just on a dating app, think for girls. My homegirls tell me stories. They'll give the nigga the number, and within 5 seconds, dick pic. You gave them the number, and within 5 seconds, they sent you a dick pic. Most of them they ignore it. But you're gonna like stock those up, and then in 6 years be like, "Yep, that's Jeremy, that's Michael, that's Craig, that's Latavius." And you know what? I'm just gonna send these in an email file. Feel free to unzip that if you like, and then we're gonna get the ball rolling on getting all of these Negroes fired from their jobs. Which, if they have it coming, let them do it. But now, companies, corporations, jobs, all that, they can't take the chance of even being close to somebody who's in a space like that, no matter if it's true or not. No matter if it's true or not, they cannot be close to some shit like that. So off top, then they have to be like, you're done here. And that's okay, I guess, because you want to make sure that you're putting in protections of sorts. But then what happens if you find out that it's not true? So then you just toss somebody in the trap, like, because we just don't know. I still think we have to take every single allegation serious, every single one of them. There is no fucking ifs, ands, or buts, none of that. But we also still have to remember that all of these people are people. The scumbags need to get what they paid for. If they're going to be on some dumb shit, then you need to suffer the consequences. But we also got to remember that there be some people out here that just like to lie. And some of these people are just trying to get close to money because, listen, who really want to work after being at home for that long? I just thought that was Mitch on the TV. That's definitely not Mitch. Gabby says, it's also quite possible that she wasn't the only one. There might have been a circle of females that have shared the story. Yeah, honestly, I think they had mentioned that it wasn't just one person. It was like a group of girls. But like I said, you think about like your like dating life when people are on the apps, like Tinder, like that is literally an app where you're linking up with people and you're not on there looking for love. Come on. And if you are, you're a rookie, you're a novice, it's your first freaking time. Because anybody that's been on Tinder more than once knows that you're not really looking for relationships. You really are on there looking for people that you can fuck. That's facts. I literally have girls in my phone, first name, and then the last name, I put the dating app that they were under. And they've sent me nudes just because on that app, that is what you do. That's how they're shooting their shot. So if people think they're shooting their shot, and this is people, not men, not female, we're not defending nobody. I'm saying if people think that they're shooting their shot and they send somebody a nude, is it fair if the person takes it, doesn't say anything, or even engages them after the fact, and then decides when they get mad that they want to turn them in and say that they were being inappropriate and gross and participating in misconduct? Because every job could come back and be like, well, that's something that we just would not tolerate here at the workplace. So now you're let go. Now, obviously, we also forget that these people, based on their job, they might have cell phone bills paid for by the team. They might be driving in cars that are paid for by the team. So that's probably some of how they can get some of these people fired, because you're doing this shit on company time. That was the thing that I did not think about. That probably sometimes is the only reason why some of these niggas be getting suspended or losing their jobs. And not because they're doing it, but because they're doing it on company time or property or things like that. So then, does the company even care about the victim? No. Hell no. It's a slippery slope, man. It's mad messy. But again, I was not bringing this up in any way, shape, or form to advocate for these scumbaggy ass men. All right. Listen, we are all trash. And if you are somebody who is above admitting that, make yourself a dead person. Because it's facts. It cannot be denied. Listen, we got to get right. Men, if you're listening, go get your mentals checked on. Like Marshawn says, your mentals, your chickens. What else are we talking about? Geese, I think. No, I don't be knowing. Marshawn says all types of stuff. Gabby said, I met a guy who owned an adult video store in San Antonio who's wanting to participate in some BDSM. Shit, that's crazy shit. Wait, why at first, I don't have my glasses on. For some odd reason, I thought that was about to say something about barbecue. I don't know why. Anytime I see a B capitalized, I just immediately go to barbecue. That sounds crazy. But yeah, BDSM, whatever that F that be. Like, I know what it is, but I just, no, I'm not like, I can't imagine being like, yo, pull up, I'm on this wild shit. That's just not my steez. Like, I'm a little bit wild, but not to strangers. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean. That shit's crazy. With your partner, somebody you know, yeah. But I guess people, they swing like that. I don't know, man. It ain't for everybody. It damn sure ain't for me. Y'all heard how Bethany was clowning me. You know what though? I be thinking sometimes Bethany probably just want to pull up again. She probably doesn't. And I bet if she saw it, she'd probably just go right back to trashing me. But she can't act like she ain't love me. You know you love me. Anyway, man, listen. Again, I was not advocating for the guy or trying to say that the victim was corny for doing. If something has happened to you, I hope that you come forward. And if you feel like you don't have the courage now, I hope that at some point you gain that courage and you are able to get any type of closure you feel like that you need from a situation. I was in no way, shape, or form trying to say that your feelings do not matter or that what you were going through is not important or that you were wasting your time by bringing this up, no matter what the amount of time had been since the time the incident happened. No. If you got to wait 100 fucking years, do that. Because if that's all the time you need to get right, you do that. That's all. Gabby said, I only talked to him for 10 minutes and I was done. It's too bad he didn't own a barbecue joint. Anyway, all right, man. Gabby, appreciate you being in the chat. Mark, thanks for your commentary. You educated me too. It helped put me on to some stuff and reminded me some stuff that I already knew. So I appreciate that because I think it's important that we have to note that there are things like barriers for people when it comes time to bring this up because we always all want to be like, why didn't you say something earlier? But it's not always that easy. It's just not. And sometimes you're not always ready to face all your situations right when somebody else asks you to. So fully understand if you guys are struggling with stuff. Hey, listen, I get it. You talk when you feel comfortable and don't let anybody bully you into thinking that there is some time or some sort of something that you have to meet in order to satisfy somebody else. That's just not a fucking thing. You do your thing. Don't worry about it. All right, man, we out of here. All right, Gabby. See ya. Have fun at the barbecue joint.